Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Tales from the Pen Part 2. I told you guys if I got a lot of positive responses and a lot of views, I was going to come up with Part 2. And I got a lot of positive responses. So many people hitting my phone. So many people hitting my Instagram, PaleRider11367 at Instagram. You know, a lot of people are ready and waiting for this next part. So here we go. If you're new to the channel, or even if you're not new to the channel and you didn't hit subscribe, because I got 300 something views and only 40 subscribers, so just please reach down, hit the subscribe button. Look, it's right there on the red. Boom, done. Nothing's gonna come out your bank account or anything. If anything, you're just helping me out. So anyway, my name is Fred. I'm from Flushing, Queens, and what I do here on this channel is gonna be talking about the penitentiary and talk about my experiences and things that I've seen. And I've done almost about 16 years in the penitentiary, and I've been in 9 different prisons. So I know a little bit about what I speak of. Now, I'm not doing this for glorification, as I said in the last video. I'm doing this for one, for people who are interested, and two, hopefully these kids can understand some of these experiences and some of these things that I went through. So they could see that there's nothing cool about prison. There's nothing cool about jail in any way, shape, or form. So that's why I'm doing these videos. And again, I don't want anybody to believe that I'm trying to, glorify anything that happened in prison, because I'm not. Because, the reality is, when I was young and people came home from up north and they had that up north glow and they came home from jail, they were looked upon as cool. You know what I mean? Like it was a rite of passage to go to jail and be like them. It's cool. And look at my face. There's nothing cool about jail, and that's what I'm here to do. So anyway, last time I talked a little bit about Rikers Island. You can go back and check part 1 about that. Today we're going to talk about upstate penitentiaries. Now, upstate is where you go when you're already sentenced, whether it be 1 to 3 or 2 years, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, 100, whatever your years is, and you go to an upstate penitentiary. Now, they have minimum security, they have medium securities, and they have maximum securities. So when you go through what's called reception, you go to 2 different places when you leave Rikers Island and you're going upstate. You go to either downstate or you go to Ulster. Now, downstate is where I went. Now, when you get to downstate and they first take you off that bus, there's about 4, 5, 6 big rednecks there with batons, and you're chained up, and they're reading you the Riot Act, and they're letting you know this is not Rikers Island anymore. You are in state penitentiary. Now, what they do is they cattle you into this little area, and they take all your property. Everything that you had coming up for Rikers Island, they take from you. You can have nothing but 10 pictures in your Bible. Your Bible functioned as different things. Your Bible functioned as your address book as well, because you knew they couldn't take it. So any addresses, phone numbers, anything like that you had coming up from Rikers Island, you would put it in your Bible book, write it in. So, the Bible served many different purposes. Bible also served as when people used to like to smoke weed, whatever. People would take the Bible paper, because it was so thin, wrap it up and smoke it. They going to hell. I ain't got nothing to do with that. That's on them. But anyway, so they take everything, and you can have your Bible, and you can have 10 pictures, and if you have maybe a rosary, plastic rosary, you can have that. This is what downstate was. Then what they do is they take you and they sit you in the barber's chair and they cut your hair. You get bald. The only way you could keep your hair is if you was maybe, had some type of thing from a judge, and it was your religion, Rastafarian or something like that, and they had dreads. Some of them got to keep it, but if they didn't have that court order from a judge, it got cut off too. You were bald. They take all your hair off. Then what they do is they put you into a little shower area where the things come down from the ceiling, and they spray you as well with lice type stuff. Insecticide comes down from the ceiling, and they spray you all over the place, and they make sure that you don't have any bugs, you don't have any lice, you don't have any of that. Right? Then you take a shower. Then they give you what's called greens. This is your state setup, they call it, all right? And they give you state shirt. They give you like 3 state shirts. They're all green. And they give you the same pants. This is all craft material, right? This is stuff made by inmates in the industry inside the penitentiary. So you have your green pants and you have your green shirts. you have 3 t-shirts, 3 underwears, 3 pairs of socks, and you have your state boots, and they give you a pair of sneakers, the old school Chuck Taylors. That's what they give you, okay? Then they give you a little mattress, they give you a little sheets, and they give you a cup. And inside that cup, it will have a bar of soap, which is called state soap. You don't want to put that shit on because that shit melts your skin, okay? So it's called state soap, and they give you a toothpaste. It's just called state toothpaste, and a toothbrush. That's what you get in a towel, okay? So, and then what they do is you go see somebody, and they classify you. Whether you're going to be minimum security, whether you're going to be medium security, or whether you're going to be maximum security. That's what I was, maximum security. So you wait in reception for a few months to give you a cell. Then after you wait in reception for maybe a few weeks, maybe a month, maybe a little bit longer, until one of the facilities has room, and that's where you get shipped to. So being I was young at the time, most of the people who were young only got shipped to 2 prisons as on the maximum status. You got shipped to Elmira, or you got shipped to Coxsackie. Right? Now, anyone who's been in the state understands that Coxsackie is probably the wildest prison in in anywhere. I don't care, in the world. Coxsackie was wild because everyone was young. Everyone already had 20, 30, 40, 50 years to do and didn't care. And you're in the beginning of your bid, and you got to make a reputation. So Coxsackie was 1,000%, I'm going to say the wildest place that I've been. 100, and I've been in 9, okay? A lot of them are wild. Comstock was wild, Clinton, I'm going to have stories about all these prisons. But Coxsackie was a little different, and it was the first one I went to. It was also the first place I seen, my first murder I seen. Now, before I go on and anyone say, well, why would he talk about a murder? The people involved got caught right away. The people involved both got 10 years in solitary confinement, and the people involved also got 15 years added to their prison sentence. They already had 30 or whatever it was anyway. So it's not something that, I'm snitching about or anything. It's common knowledge. This is just what it was, okay? Now, when you first get to Coxsackie, 90% of the time, they make you go to the mess hall. That would be your job. Hated the mess hall. But I was there a few weeks, and that's when I see my first murder. I'm going to talk a little bit about it. Now, back then, they used to have, when you come into the mess hall, you needed whatever utensils you may need to make whatever was going on, right? So if there was carrots and you had to chop them up or whatever it was, they gave you a butcher knife. There was also meat cleavers, metal spoons, whatever the things you make to turn batter with, whisks, there you go. So whatever it was, they would have it in a room. And they would have somebody from the outside world, that's what we call it, the outside world, come in, and they were known as a civilian. And so they weren't corrections officers, obviously they weren't inmates, but they worked for the facility, okay? And they would sit in this little booth, and as you needed, you can go up, if you worked in the mess hall, this is the back of the mess hall, and you say, hey, let me get that butcher knife. You take your identification card, and they give you the butcher knife, and now your ID goes on the butcher knife spot, so they know who has the butcher knife. Inmate X has the butcher knife. This is the way it was. It may sound silly that there's no way they can give out knives and stuff. Yes, they did. Yes, it was. It's 100% facts. So one day there was this kid, I'm going to change a few names, but his name was Bugs, okay? And Bugs was a dancing kid. I believe he was from Brooklyn, and he had just won the talent show like that week. In the talent show, people rhyme, people sing, people dance, whatever. It's a talent show. Bugs won it. So Bugs, Bugs was a semi-popular inmate, but Bugs also sold a little weed. Now, the weed in there was like inside a sugar bag, right? And you put a little bit in, and $25, and that's $25 is for a little sugar bag. Like, this is the way it was. So he had gotten into a little altercation with a couple dudes who wanted a joint. Not a bag, like I just described. They just wanted a joint. And Bugs wouldn't give it to him. So I remember I came out the little freezer area and heard a little scuffle. And, pretty much by the time I got there, it was already over. And by the time I got there, when I came around the corner, dude had the butcher knife in his chest, and blood was just spurting everywhere. Blood went up so high as the ceiling, and it was everywhere. The squad and everybody came in, and, The squad is, like I explained last one, like the Turtles, Ninja Turtles. All the police come rushing. They pull a pin, and all the police in the area come rushing to that area, and you better get on the floor. If you don't get on the floor, they'll fuck you up. So everybody got on the floor. They caught the two dudes right away, right there. We're going to call them P and Chief. Caught the two dudes right there. They both got 10 years in the box, and they both got 15 years to their sentence. So again, this is nothing, like, oh my God, he's telling, no. It's common knowledge. Everyone got caught. Everyone admitted their guilt, and it's over with, okay? So these are the things that happen there, right? Also, about Coxsackie and that mess hall is that you had to keep a bucket of water in the middle of your table, okay? Let me explain. At every table in Coxsackie, they were circular. So you had 5 seats per table, okay? Now, in the middle, there was one inmate who would walk up and down, and he would pass out, or maybe 2, and they would just keep passing out water, buckets of water. The pitchers you may get in the diner, pitchers. Every table had a pitcher of water in the middle. Now, some of it was to drink, but some of it, because a lot of people didn't like to drink the Kool-Aid because the word was that they would put stuff in we didn't make the Kool-Aid, so they would put stuff in the Kool-Aid, like medicine, to calm the inmate population. Like they were medicating the inmate population. Again, sounds crazy, right? But 100% fact. So a lot of people didn't drink the Kool-Aid, okay, in the mess hall. So a lot of times that water was for whoever didn't do that. But the main part of that water was you always had to carry a handkerchief with you, okay? Because what would happen is if shit jump off in the mess hall, which it always did, because that's when other houses would be with other houses, right? You come in, and other house come in, then another house come in. So, it's a lot of testosterone in the room. So a lot of times that's the place, that in the yard would be the 2 places where shit would pop off. So what you'd have to do is, you'd have to keep your handkerchief, because what happens is when shit pop off, they're dropping tear gas and shit from the ceiling. Boom, comes down in. They close the doors, everything comes down. Also, they have a little tower in the back, and they had rubber bullets, but they'd also shoot the tear gas. So when shit happened, this is what was going on. You take out your handkerchief, you dip it in that water, okay? You dip it right in that pitcher, and you throw it over your face, because that shit burns. Anybody who's been tear gassed, anybody who's been through any of that, understands that shit fucks you up. It gets in your skin, and it stays there forever, and it hurts, and it burns in your eyes. So you put the shit around you, okay? And that's what you have to do, all right, during a riot or whatever's happening and what's going on, because the tear gas 100% is coming, okay? And when the police, again, when they would come through, if you're not on the floor, if you're one of the guys still fighting, you're gonna get fucked up. They're gonna fuck you up bad. That's just the way it is. But sometimes when you're fighting somebody, he's got a knife, you got to, and they're telling you get down. You don't want to get down. You know what I mean? You might not want to get down, because you're afraid you're about to get stabbed in your neck if you do go down, right? So a lot of times people were getting, in Coxsackie, inside the mess hall was rubber bullets. Outside and all the rest of them, they actually had guns. And I believe they had guns in the mess hall once too, but I just never heard of anybody getting shot in there. But yeah, people have gotten killed in there from not, adhering when they say get down on the floor, okay? So, and as I said, the police up there are a little different. I don't know what they eat in the upstate county, but they got some big white boys up there, okay? And that's mostly what the police were. 90% of them were, 99 were white. They only have, I remember one black lady in Coxsackie. Her name was Miss Bell. And I remember one time, the kid next door to me, man, he got such a beat, and let me tell you what he did. In Coxsackie, the doors are not like the cells you may see when you watch these TV shows. It's a door with a little window up top, and on the bottom here in the middle, they had maybe a 6x8 slot. And that was called your feed up slot. That's when they used to feed you through there if you're in solitary or whatever, or they used to give you your mail through there. Everything went through this little slot, okay? Nowadays, they lock the slot, so you can't do anything or stick your hand out. They can't. But back then, it wasn't like that, okay? The slots was open. So once in a while, you may have somebody, a police that go by, and you may ask them, hey man, can you pass this? You may be in 2 cell. Can you pass this magazine down to 20 cell? Maybe you're on your way. If he was cool, he'd be like, all right, cool, and then go to 20 cell here, man. It's from 2 cell, right? Some people are like that. What happened was this dude Shah, he asked Miss Bell. She went past. He said, excuse me, Miss Bell, could you pass this sandwich down, to whatever cell it was, okay? She said, sure, okay. So she's grabbing, it's 2 pieces of bread, she's grabbing it, she's telling them, let it go, I hear her. Let it go, what are you doing? Why are you holding it? And then she starts screaming, ah! This dude actually put his dick in between 2 pieces of bread and was telling her, oh man, let me tell you, man. They broke both his arms, they broke both his legs, and I never seen him again, you know what I mean? I just heard that this happened. I've never seen him again after that. Because sometimes, that's just the way it is. You may never see that guy again. Like my man Elliot. Elliot got into something with the officers. Elliot went to the box. And about a week later, it came back around, Elliot died. What they said happened was, they said that Elliot had washed his hair and got soap on the floor. And then was doing push-ups off his toilet. So you put your feet up on the toilet and do the push-ups. It hits a different muscle the higher you go, right? So and they say he slipped and broke his neck. And that's the story, and that will always be the story, and that's just the way it is. Whatever they say goes, right? Whatever they say goes. Like I said, it's a different world. And especially if you didn't have family or people writing you or coming to visit you, they do whatever they want. They would kill you and no one would care. And nothing can happen to them. And they'll make up a story. He fought back. Nowadays, a lot of things are videoed, right? Back then, when they come in your cell and fuck you up, drag you out, there was no video. Oh, we can't do that. No, they beat the fuck out of you, man. You know what I mean? And especially when you got officers up there, this is facts. This is 100% facts. And this is all over the place. But there's officers up there. I seen this one. He had a black baby in a noose hanging from his arm, a tattoo, and would walk around short sleeve like nothing and smack dudes with that hand. You understand? This is what was going on because again, 99% of the officers were white, and they did whatever they wanted to do, and they did it to whoever. It's not just because racist shit. I mean, they did it to whites. They did it to whoever because you were not their kind if you were locked up. It didn't matter what you was locked up for, even though my skin color meant nothing. My skin color meant nothing. I might have had a little bit more because, I played basketball, and I hung out with certain people, so they didn't like me in any way, shape, or form. My cell got searched pretty much weekly. They would toss your stuff. They would rip your pictures up. I mean, these people were just disrespectful. And again, I'm just telling these stories so that, this youth or people who don't understand, and especially this youth, that's who I'm really trying to get to. So they understand that this shit happens in there. You know what I mean? Trouble is the easiest thing to get into, but it's the hardest to get out. These are facts. And these are some of the stories that I want to express. These are some of the stories that I need these kids to see. So they understand that them other stories that these dudes is coming home, when you're at Howard's jail, oh, it ain't nothing. It's nothing. That's bullshit. They lying to you. It is something. You know what I mean? You may have a year and never come home. You may have a year and never come home because, number one, you may die or you may have to kill somebody. It's a whole different world. It's a whole different mentality. That's just the way it is. When you got white police walking around with black babies on their arm, you understand it's a different world. You're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy. So, again, I'm doing this for these kids so they understand that prison is no joke. I see them coming up on the 20 minutes again, and, my next few episodes are going to be good. We're going to be talking about all different other jails, especially Comstock. Comstock was the worst. Comstock had bats, mice. I mean, it was disgusting. But anyway, this is about it. I hope you enjoyed part 2, and part 3 is coming soon. I'm not going to make people wait a week, man, because I think I'm going to get on a roll with this. And part 3 is coming soon. So until next time, Fred White, checking out.